Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Arne Slot insists Alexander Isak's Liverpool career starts now. Liverpool head coach Arne Slot has insisted that Alexander Isak's Liverpool career starts now as the Sweden international reaches full fitness following a disrupted start to life at Anfield. The $125 million signing, the most expensive in British football history, has endured a challenging few months since leaving Newcastle United. His delayed arrival left him absent for Liverpool's pre-season, after being sidelined by the Magpies while pushing for the move, forcing him to play catch-up in terms of both fitness and tactical integration into Slot's high-intensity system. Since completing his high-profile transfer at the end of the summer window, Isak has been carefully eased into Liverpool's first team. The 26-year-old has made 6 appearances across all competitions, 4 starts, and 2 as a substitute, totaling 313 minutes on the pitch. His only goal came in a Carabao Cup win over Southampton, while during the recent international break, he added 198 minutes for Sweden in World Cup qualifiers against Switzerland and Kosovo, but failed score in either game. Speaking ahead of Sunday's Premier League clash with rivals Manchester United at Anfield, Slot made it clear that the striker has now reached the fitness level he expects and can finally be assessed fairly. Now he has had his 5-6 weeks of preseason, which is normal for every player, especially if you have been out for 3 or 4 months, Slot said. Fitness-wise, he is close to the level he should be, and we can judge him in a fair way from now on. I know how this industry works if he plays for Sweden twice and doesn't score. That's not what you're hoping for, of course. You are hoping if they go to the national team, they score goals like Cody, Gakpo did, like Virgil van Dijk did, like Dominic Szoboszlai did, like Alexis Mac Allister did, but he didn't. His preseason is finished now. He has played a few games, 70, 80, 90 minutes, so let's see where he is in the upcoming weeks. Isak's slow introduction has mirrored Liverpool's early season struggles. The Reds have suffered 3 consecutive defeats and have conceded goals from areas they would normally defend comfortably. Slot has been candid about the defensive frailties and tactical issues that have hampered his side, particularly the volume of crosses allowed from open play. As a group, there are clearly problems to solve, Slot admitted. I'm still far from happy with the number of goals we've conceded and the number of crosses we've allowed from open play. We're looking for answers in that area, particularly as goals have been harder to come by recently. The stakes for Isak are considerable. With a record-breaking price tag and the weight of national expectations, every performance has been scrutinized. Yet Slot remains confident that the striker has the quality to justify the transfer fee, particularly as he is now fully integrated into Liverpool's tactical framework. The Swedish forward is set to compete with Hugo Ekitike for the central striker role against Manchester United, a choice Slot will make based on form, fitness, and the defensive weaknesses he hopes each player can exploit. The hope is that Isak, now familiar with Liverpool's attacking patterns, can start delivering the goals and performances the club invested heavily to secure. His preseason is done, Slot emphasized. He's up to speed now, so let's see what comes next. Liverpool's issues in front of goal have been a recurring theme this season. While Mohamed Salah hasn't maintained his usual high standards, the team has lacked consistent support from other attacking outlets. The addition of Isak was intended to ease that burden and provide a focal point in the center, but the delayed start has meant the early weeks have felt like a prolonged wait for supporters. Slot is realistic. However, that Isak's inclusion alone will not transform Liverpool overnight. Defensive shortcomings and general cohesion issues remain, and it may take time for the side to stabilize. But the head coach believes that a fully fit Isak could provide the spark needed to change games, offering the cutting edge Liverpool has been missing in key moments this season. For supporters, the wait is finally over. After months of speculation, frustration, and anticipation, Alexander Isak now has the platform to prove why Liverpool broke the British transfer record to bring him to Anfield. Slot's message is unequivocal. The warm-up is complete. The real Liverpool chapter for Isak begins this weekend and eyes across. Anfield will be fixed on the striker to see if he is ready to deliver. Liverpool. Set for January transfer boost as Arne Slot decision quickly pays off. Liverpool could be set to bank a second windfall following Bobby Clark's tenant exit from the club. The Reds sold the midfielder to Austrian side Red Bull Salzburg shortly after Arne Slot took the reins at Anfield. Liverpool agreed a deal of around $10 for Clark's services, who was reunited with former Reds assistant Pep Linders in Austria. The 20-year-old made 25 appearances for the club during his debut season. Clark was surprisingly sent on loan to Championship side Derby County at the start of this season, and it appears that he could be on the move once again very soon. According to the Times, Celtic have agreed a 6-meter deal with Salzburg, and the move will become official in January. The move would see Clark play under former Liverpool boss Brendan Rodgers, with his debut for the side potentially coming on January 3rd against Celtic's fierce rivals Rangers. It would also bank Liverpool a welcome bonus, having slotted a 17.5% sell-on clause into the agreement, a clause that could be worth just over $1 million to the Reds. Speaking about a potential move, current Derby boss Jonathan Eustace said, "It's the first I've heard of it. That's interesting, but we certainly don't want to lose him. I think we brought Bobby in to help develop him, to give him a platform to perform, and he's certainly done that up to now. There's a lot more to come from him. I think we're developing him in the right way. This is the culture and environment we set here at Derby. The players that come are going to be developed properly, and it's great that big clubs like Celtic are looking at him, but we certainly don't want him to go anywhere." Asked if there was a clause in his contract that could lead to a move, he added, "Not that I'm aware of. Listen, January's a long way away. I'm not worried about that. Let's keep giving him some important minutes. Let's see how his performances are from now to then. I know they've been improving. His numbers are getting better and he's getting fitter, and we'll worry about that in January. The most important thing is Bobby is our player until then at least, and we keep working well with him and he keeps performing well with us," Eustace said. Clark made his debut for Liverpool at the age of 17 under Jurgen Klopp, and he went on to make 14 appearances for the club before his exit. He has so far made 10 appearances for Derby during his loan spell in the Midlands, scoring once. Liverpool warned against starting Andy Robertson versus Man United despite Milos Kerkez's struggles. Liverpool have had problems in a few positions this season, but none more so than at left back. During the summer transfer window, there was a reshaping of the position as the Reds went and bought Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth for $40 million, as they loaned out Kostas Tsimikas to AS Roma. The signing of the Hungarian meant that longtime starter in the position, Andy Robertson, was left on the bench for games this season as Arne Slot affirmed Kerkez as the new starter on the left flank. However, the 21-year-old has not performed to the best of his abilities in the position, finding himself struggling to keep up with the opposition and transitioning into a much more defensive position than he was used to when bombing down the flank in the south coast, with Robertson coming closer towards the end of his peak and Kerkez struggling with form. It is no wonder that it has become an issue for the manager to solve, given that this is one of the reasons Liverpool have lost points this season. Craig Burley says, "Andy Robertson should not start versus Manchester United. It will be all the more important on Sunday when Slot's side face Manchester United at Anfield, with Mason Mount likely to cause issues down that flank in one of the biggest games on the calendar." Craig Burley previewed the United fixture and pointed out that the Dutchman's balance problem is complicated further by the left-back position, especially after the international break. The former Chelsea player spoke about Robertson's performances for Scotland, showing that he has not convinced the manager that he should start the United game even with Kerkez not performing. Speaking to ESPN, Burley explained, "The back four has struggled. Kerkez has struggled. We haven't talked about bringing Andy Robertson back in, but if you watched Andy Robertson play for Scotland, you wouldn't bring him back in because he struggled there. So there are so many questions I think from this Liverpool side that I think it's a big game for Arne Slot." Arne Slot is left with a difficult conundrum. It may not be the best idea to start Robertson, given the fact that his performances for Scotland were not his best. But starting Kerkez brings up its own dilemmas. The main issue with having him in the XE is that he will be overrun by the occasion of the game and will likely receive an early yellow card. As in other games, he has had one out of frustration. It would be better in that sense to bring him on later in the match and start with Robertson, but it would mean losing some pace on the ball. Slot has found himself in an unenviable situation trying to work out the best balance on that side, and this tough decision could make or break the game. Konate, Gravenberch, Alisson, latest Liverpool. Injury news ahead of Man United clash. Liverpool manager Arne Slot has provided fitness updates on 3 crucial players ahead of his teams. Premier League clash with Manchester United on Sunday. The Reds will be desperate to bounce back from 3 successive losses before the international break when they welcome their fierce rivals to Anfield. The absence of key personnel won't aid their cause, with fitness doubts surrounding Ibrahima Konate, Ryan Gravenberch, and Alisson. During his press conference at the AXA training center on Friday morning, he revealed, "Ryan is completely fit. Still has to train, but fit. We are in a good place with the Dutch side. Ibu has come back to us and is expected to train today. Alisson is not training, so he is out. How long out? Difficult to say as the end. Phase of rehab always gives you positives and negatives, but not the weekend or next week." Konate was withdrawn early in the second period during the loss to Chelsea, and despite receiving a call-up for France duty, a statement emerged last weekend confirming his return to Merseyside, having failed to recover from that muscle injury. Concerns had also emerged regarding Gravenberch after his interval substitution whilst on Netherlands duty, with 2 reports on his fitness following that withdrawal. Ryan indicated he had some minor hamstring problems. National team manager Ronald Koeman acknowledged. "Of course, we didn't take any risks with that." Following the match, Gravenberch commented, "It was partly fitness-related. The season is long, so it was a precaution. I'm feeling good, and I have the coach's confidence." Alisson had already been virtually ruled out of the United game after sustaining a hamstring injury in the Champions League loss to Galatasaray. Just a week prior, Giovanni Leone suffered a severe knee injury on his debut against Southampton in the Carabao Cup. The summer recruit has since had surgery and is anticipated to be sidelined for a considerable length of time. Lisandro Martinez is recovering from a similar operation underwent in February, with the Argentine edging closer to a full return over the recent international break. He is the only confirmed United absentee for the trip to Liverpool, though Amorim could confirm other fitness concerns in his press conference, which is scheduled for later today. Judge him now. Arne Slot claims Alexander Isak is fully fit after lack of pre-season as 119 striker searches for first Premier League goal for Liverpool. Arne Slot has revealed Alexander Isak is fully fit again after his lack of pre-season, with the 125 million, 166.7 striker now searching for his first Premier League goal for Liverpool. The Swedish striker might have forced his way out of Newcastle United in a messy transfer saga over the summer, but he has yet to shine since swapping St. James's Park for Anfield. Isak's slow start at Liverpool, having refused to join Newcastle's pre-season camp to push through his dream move, Isak arrived at Liverpool lacking match sharpness. Hence, it was no surprise when his first few weeks on Merseyside were something of a slow burn. His only goal so far came in their 2-1 Carabao Cup victory over Southampton, and as fans grew impatient to get a glimpse of the ruthless finisher who terrorized defenses in black and white, pressure kept building on the forward. Slot claimed that the 26-year-old's stop-start introduction was deliberate, designed to rebuild his conditioning and avoid any early muscle setbacks. But the wait is finally over, and the Dutch manager can't wait to unleash the beast version of Isak that went missing in the first few weeks. Slot backs. Isak to start firing. Slot acknowledged that supporters and the media have been quick to question the Swede's lack of goals, especially after he drew blanks in international defeats to Switzerland and Kosovo. But the Dutch coach urged patience, insisting that form will come once fitness meets confidence. Now he has had his 6 weeks of preseason, which is normal for every player, especially if you have been out for 3 or 4 months, Slot said at a press conference on Friday. Fitness-wise, he is close to the level he should be, and we can judge him in a fair way from now on. I know how this industry works. If he plays for Sweden twice and doesn't score, that's not what you're hoping for. Of course, you are hoping if they go to the national team they score goals like Cody, Gakpo did, like Virgil, Van Dijk did, like Dominic Szoboszlai did, like Alexis McAllister did, but he didn't. His preseason has finished now. He has played a few games, 70, 80, 90 minutes. So let's see where he is in the upcoming weeks. Gravenberch and Konate fit again after injury scares. As Liverpool prepare for Sunday's mammoth Premier League showdown with Manchester United at Anfield, Slot received a welcome double boost. Both midfielder Ryan Gravenberch and defender Ibrahima Konate have been declared fit and available after minor injury scares. Gravenberch was withdrawn during the Netherlands' win over Finland due to hamstring tightness, while Konate missed France's fixtures with a slight quad strain picked up against Chelsea 2 weeks ago. Slot, though, was upbeat about their recoveries. Ryan is completely fit, although we still have to train twice, Slot added. We are in a good place with the Dutch national team if Ronald Koeman can make a decision either to play Tijani Reinders or Ryan Gravenberch, so he played them both 45 minutes. Ibu has come back to us, started the sessions again, and is expected to train with us today. While Slot's optimism is unwavering, not everyone shares his rosy outlook. Daily Mail reporter Lewis Steele, who covers Liverpool closely, warned that Isak's path to full match sharpness may take longer than the club hopes. The road to full fitness is a little bit longer than expected, and there's a report from one of the Newcastle guys saying they expect it to be 3 months until he's fully fit, he said. And that is probably about right. He's been at Liverpool now for 4 or 5 weeks, so maybe we are now probably another 3 or 4 weeks away from seeing Isak at his best. There have been glimpses. Lovely assist on Saturday, and he got his goal against Southampton. To be fair, he's got to score that, but he had to be in the right place at the right time. But the road to full fitness does seem a bit bumpier than me or Slot predicted. Thank you for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.